Hello and welcome to the fourth video in our GST series. Yes, this GST series is possible because of Prabhakar K.S., who is our research partner, the proprietor of Shri Tax Chambers. He is an expert on domestic and international taxation. Excel Academy is very happy to be doing this series. In this series, as you know, we are doing GST transition, transformation and the way forward. This is the fourth video in this particular and we are going to do challenges and way forward. Yes, please understand there is an expansion of indirect tax base. Thanks to the GST now, more people are paying the taxes and this is a very good news for whole country of India because when we have an expansion of indirect tax base, there will be higher revenue for the government. For this we have evidence. Yes. According to the latest economic survey which came out in January 29, 2018, the indirect taxpayer base has increased by 50%. This is a very big number and this is thanks to GST. As we go further, if you look at the survey also finds that there is a certain surge, that is definitely an improvement in the registrations. That is, more and more people are going for GST registration, especially the smaller entities to avail them what we call as the ITC input tax credit. This is again very good news. So before everybody used to do outside the tax bracket, it used to be an informal economy. Now everybody is coming within the GST and because of this we will have a transparent economy and more revenue for government. The next big issue is bringing real estate and petroleum products under GST, which will be happening soon, which will take some time, but this is the next big challenge which the government is going to face. So let us try to understand. Now, there were some things which were outside the purview of the GST, which is not inside GST. So this is because of the insistence of the states, the different states of India, certain goods and services are not in GST regime. What are they? The first point is alcoholic liquor for human consumption. Next we have petroleum and its products such as crude, petrol, ATF, etc. Then we have electricity. There is no GST for electricity as of now because all the states of India complained that they are going to lose the revenue. Employees and their services, we don't have GST, and actionable claims other than lottery betting and gambling, we don't have the GST, and this is because of the states. So this is something which you have to know. In the future we can go for expansion of the indirect tax base if the states also are going to agree, and if the states feel that in the long term it is good for them, they will be ready to agree on these items also. So in some time, we don't know how much time, in the future course of time, we can expect even these products to slowly come under the GST regime. Next we study about the reduction in the tax slabs. Currently we have 5 GST slabs, that is nil return, 5%, 12%, 18% and 28%. So let us try to understand. According to the World Bank's latest biannual India Development Update report on March 2018, most countries have a single rate of GST. So this World Bank report is telling most countries have single rate, but India has 5 different rates. Of course, Malaysia also had only one single rate, but now they have abolished GST, which we have already studied in the previous video. Now we will try to understand few more concepts. The Indian GST rates are among the highest in the world, while only applying to a subset of goods and services traded is 28%, which is the second highest among 115 countries which have GST system. So as of now, yes, GST is very high in India, and it compared to the other 115 countries, our rates are very high. Next we should understand the simplified compliance regime under GST. Now that we understood what is the expansion and what is the scope for GST which it can grow, we will try to understand the simplified compliance regime. So we should understand now they have tried to make everything online, which I told in the previous video. Please do watch the previous video. All the 3 videos are there in the link in the description below. Please have a look at it. According to GST rules on returns, all registered dealers have to require submission of invoice level details of its supplies and purchases. So now all the supplies and purchases have to be given to the government in terms when we file the returns. According to GST rules on returns, all registered dealers have required submission of invoice level details of its supplies and purchases also. So the GST rules on returns is saying that all the registered dealer, that means anybody who has taken GST registration. Registered dealer means anybody who has taken GST registration. They have to require to have a submission of invoice level detail. So even every single invoice, so every invoice, whether it is big invoice, we don't care. Every single invoice now has to be reported to the authority under the GST regime. Now we will understand, as a major initiative, the GST Council in the 28th meeting has approved the much simpler version of GST compliance compared to the current one. So it is going to become more simple. Yes, everybody is having the problems now, but the government will definitely make it more simple as the time goes, and the proof for that is the 28th meeting of the GST Council. Now what is this simplified regime? Simple formats which are in line with basic principles like what? Option of filing quarterly return with monthly payment of tax by the small taxpayers. So now what is the advantage is once in 3 months you can file the quarterly return, but of course payment you should make monthly. Nobody has a problem to make payment, but the problem is in the paperwork. We have to do quarterly returns means it's okay, but if it's monthly returns, so much of paperwork, you should get the information, file the returns, last date, website is not working. So now we are going to have a simple format for small taxpayers. Next point, GST Council has recommended allowing taxpayers except small taxpayers to file one monthly return instead of multiple returns. So now we have multiple returns, and then the big problem is that every 2-3 days, every week we have to be filing returns. But the council has recommended, as of now it is not yet implemented, but very soon there is a high chance of implementation where we will have one monthly return instead of multiple returns, multiple forms. They are going to make a common form, which is very good and very easy for the professionals also. In a first instance, the GST Council has recommended to provide an option of filing nil returns by sending SMS. So now if you have nil return, you can simply put SMS. So this is very good, especially for somebody who has just registered. There is no much transactions. So if there is nil return, you can go for SMS option also. And this is a recommendation. This is not yet implemented. It is still recommended. Very soon it will be implemented also. Quarterly compliance instead of monthly. So this is the next thing which we are trying to understand in the simplified procedures. GST Council has approved the quarterly filing of returns instead of monthly burden for taxpayers having turnover up to 5 crores, but as a optional. So it is not compulsory, it is optional. So we can do quarterly compliance instead of monthly. Then the last point in this video is the much needed relief and facility for amending of the invoice details filed in the return. So the GST Council again has recommended to allow amended return. This is going to be a big game changer and is going to make life very easy for companies, business, and also the company secretary, chartered accountant, the tax professionals, auditors, whoever is going to do this work. So the amended return with due payment. So it is reported that around 93% of the taxpayers have a turnover of 5 crores or less. See this amazing number, 93%. Only 7% have more than 5 crores turnover. 93% are all small taxpayers, small companies, small businesses. So hence, the simplified GST compliance would benefit the substantial amount of taxpayers. Substantial amount is 93% people. So life will become very easy for almost 93% people who are under the GST regime. So this was the fourth and the last video in this series, which is relating to the transition and way forward. We will be doing many more videos on GST very, very soon. Leave your questions in the comments below if you have. We will be happy to help you. Watch out for the future videos in the GST which will be about other topics, and do let us know what kind of videos you need on GST. And once again, I thank Prabhakar KS, the proprietor of Shri Tax Chambers, our research partner, for making this GST videos possible. And don't forget to subscribe to Excel Academy for regular updates on any law subjects.